I am Skoly 9. Observation Protocol Online. Accessing declassified data. Transmission begins now. How did life begin? Was it a sophisticated architect, or something more? Parallel universes? Alternate realities? Government projects? We are not the only ones. How many entities exist? What is their origin? The reason for their visit to Earth? What pact did the government make? Why are they hiding it? Reality is not what it seems. The truth has been hidden from us. These and more questions about this hidden mystery we will be analyzing. Don't miss this and our next episodes. Welcome visitors. Let's share with our community to learn more about everything they're hiding from us. And thank you for joining us. Let's begin. Chilling Testimonies, the Abduction Enigma. What would you feel if, one day, your own reality were shattered? If everything you took for granted, logic, science, your everyday life, were shattered by an event impossible to ignore. Not a dream, not an illusion, but the absolute certainty that something or someone had taken you away. Maybe for seconds, maybe for hours. But you wouldn't come back the same. What if they told you you weren't crazy, but awake? Encounters with the so-called greys, those thin figures with enormous, fathomless black eyes, aren't just part of pop culture or collective nightmares. They emerge again and again, from trembling lips, under hypnosis, or in hidden recordings that never saw the light of day. There are patterns. There are scars. There are traces of radiation. But above all, there is imposed silence. Because those who have been taken away not only carry the weight of trauma, but the weight of knowing a truth that no one wants to hear. What if you weren't the first? And won't be the last? The phenomenon has been documented for decades, even centuries, disguised as legends, apparitions, or sleep paralysis. But in recent times, the pattern is clearer, more repetitive, and more technological. The greys aren't coming to invade us. They don't need weapons. They're already inside. Inside your memory. Inside your blood. Inside your kind. Over the decades, abduction accounts have multiplied. From rural areas of the United States to the bustling cities of Europe and remote villages of South America, people of all ages and cultural backgrounds report identical experiences. It's not just about seeing a light in the sky. It's about being taken, of being examined, of being manipulated, and returning with a fuzzy memory, but a very real trauma. One of the most shocking cases is that of Travis Walton, in 1975. An Arizona lumberjack, along with 6 co-workers, witnessed a UFO. As they approached, a light struck him and he disappeared. His terrified friends fled. 5 days later, Walton reappeared, disoriented, with terrifying memories of being examined by tall, hairless beings, and later by the greys. His story, supported by the testimony of his co-workers and a polygraph, became a cornerstone of the UFO phenomenon. Was it an abduction orchestrated by otherworldly beings? Or set up to cover up something more sinister, related to the technology delivered in the previous chapter? The line between contact and violation of will becomes blurred. Another deeply disturbing case is that of Whitley Strieber, author of the celebrated bestseller Communion, published in 1987. Now, I'll ask you, who's watching this, a direct question. What would you do if your reality suddenly fell apart, and what you thought was impossible began to happen to you, in your own home? Strieber wasn't a UFO enthusiast. He was a science fiction writer, yes, but also a man with a structured, stable life. Until, in his isolated cabin in New York, the visits began. Strange beings. Nighttime encounters. Lights in the sky that made no sound. And then, our emptiness. Voids of time. Moments vanished from your memory. Have you ever felt like you've lost time without explanation? Hours you can't remember, no matter how hard you try? Strieber recounted procedures as vivid as they were disturbing. Strange implants in his body, invasive examinations, the extraction of genetic material. All with the same underlying theme, an undeniable feeling of being part of an experiment or of a program. But a program that no one has authorized and no one can stop. The most terrifying thing isn't what he saw. It's what he felt. Because those emotions aren't made up. Genuine fear. Paralysis. Absolute vulnerability. And he's not alone. Thousands of people around the world have started speaking out. Ordinary people. Not celebrities or fame seekers. People like you and me. Farmers in Brazil, housewives in France, executives in Japan are all describing the same thing. If these kinds of stories spark something in you, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. Because we're just beginning to open the door to the unknown. Do you see the pattern? Stories repeated down to the most intimate detail. Similar beings, the famous greys, large heads, pitch black eyes. Medical procedures with impossible instruments. And then are the consequences. Listen to this carefully. Triangular scars, like minor burns, but they weren't there the day before. Chronic headaches, with no apparent medical cause. Recurring nightmares with scenes they never experienced, at least not consciously. And most enigmatic of all, the amnesia of lost time. Those gaps in memory have begun to fill, under hypnosis or therapy. Can you imagine slowly discovering that what you blocked out for years wasn't a dream, but a reality too painful to process? What if you, too, have buried memories? Support groups have sprung up all over the world. People who have never met before, sharing identical stories. Drawing the same ships. Remembering the same laboratories. Claiming to have witnessed hybrid beings, babies with human and alien traits. Are you ready for that idea? A genetic agenda is underway. A silent project, possibly to save their species, or to create a new one. And us? Just test subjects. Now imagine you're not dreaming. Imagine all this is true. Traditional science, of course, seeks explanations. Sleep paralysis, dissociative disorders, mass hysteria. But those answers don't erase the scars. They don't explain the implants. They don't restore peace of mind. And here comes the real dilemma. What weighs more, scientific proof, or the testimony of thousands who have experienced the same thing? Memories recovered under hypnosis remain controversial. But the consistency between testimonies, the global dimension of the phenomenon, and the real and profound impact on the lives of abductees cannot be dismissed so easily. Perhaps the question isn't is it real? But are we prepared to accept that it is? While science looks the other way, witnesses are speaking out. Some with fear. Others with courage. But all with a silent certainty. There is something out there. And the most disturbing thing is that it's already here. And in the end, perhaps that's the most disturbing thing. Not the creatures, nor the lights in the sky, but the silent certainty that there is something we don't remember. Something that was taken from us. Something that wasn't meant to be told. An absence that weighs more than any presence. A truth that, perhaps, is already within us. Would you dare to look beyond, if you knew there was no going back? If this video made you think, leave us a like, share it, and subscribe. Your support helps us continue unearthing what others prefer to keep quiet. And of course, we'll see you in the next episode. Because this is just beginning.